In this video, I want to look at 8 Lego Star Wars sets that will likely never be remade, and discuss why we might never see these sets again. Jumping right to it, the first set I want to look at is the Inquisitor Transport Scythe, released for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show all the way back in 2022. I have talked about this one before as one of the best modern Lego Star Wars sets, not just as a really good set necessarily, but also a really well priced set. For $100 you get a really good design for the ship, and 4 brand new high quality minifigures. The standouts being the new Inquisitors released in this set of course. And 2 of these new Inquisitors are actually remakes, who we thought we'd never see again. The sleek all-black design of the ship correlates really well into Lego form, and a neat standout part about this one is the rather sizable interior when you open the ship up, something that is often lacking with modern Lego Star Wars ships. Sadly though, as the Kenobi show did not perform too well, and as far as I am concerned there is no official announcement for a second season, and there likely won't be either, so this isn't a ship that will likely ever return to the Lego shelves. Talking about some Inquisitors, I want to look at the TIE Advanced prototype, released for one of the earliest waves of Star Wars Rebels sets. This was a new TIE variant seen in this at the time new Star Wars show, and made for a rather sought after set, at least today, as it is worth well over $100. Although the shape is not perfect, as in universe this one has a very evident curve in the wing shape, it depicted the TIE Advanced prototype well, including great minifigures too. However, as we are not likely to see any Star Wars Rebels sets return anytime soon, other than ships or characters that are being used in newer productions, I cannot imagine Lego returning to this one again, very sadly. In modern Lego Star Wars, some of the most consistent new sets are those based on Ahsoka, as this show actually got a proper wave of sets, while others got a small few individual sets and that was it. One of the sets from this show is Ahsoka Tano's duel on Peridia. Now, several of the sets from the show are vehicles or ships that could return, whether likely or not, but I think for now, this is one that I cannot imagine ever getting a remake, as we are seeing a second season and potentially more after that, so there wouldn't be the need to remake something from the show necessarily, but rather just focus on new things. This set also got quite a bit of backlash actually, due to the seemingly high price for what you get and a rather boring build. The minifigures of course is the main attraction of the set, and most people simply buy it for the Ahsoka Tano minifigure included, and of course Thrawn, who is an incredibly sought after character in Lego Star Wars. I do like this set quite a bit though, and I look forward to getting it for that Thrawn minifigure very soon, because of course we also have no idea when we might see this minifigure return in any other set either. In 2019, LEGO released the final Force Awakens playset, other than for the anniversary sets this year at least, and that was the duel on Starkiller Base. This set was rather hated when it just released, as people were getting tired of sequel sets and weren't interested in these characters or scenes anymore. However, this was a very good set, and in my opinion it was actually one of the best $20 sets we have seen in quite a while. It acts well as both a play and a display set, and has a seemingly really good build. The minifigures aren't too exciting of course, and we have seen more than enough Rey and Kylo Ren minifigures, hence why this might have failed to get as much attention back in the day compared to similar styled sets like the duel on Mustafar. I think this could have been an easy set to remake for the 10th anniversary this year, and I honestly kind of expected a mini diorama of this scene in a way, but as that was not the case this year, I doubt LEGO will ever do it again. Truthfully though, most sequel sets are quite unlikely to ever be remade, but there are some fairly iconic new ships that maybe get reused in a mainstream show or movie, or somehow return to LEGO. One of these that I think is very unlikely to get that treatment is the Jakku quad jumper. We have seen a quad jumper reappear in Star Wars in a minimal way back in Andor Season 1, but this is overall a rather uninteresting vehicle that wouldn't necessarily deserve a remake in LEGO, and barely get any sales if it would, most likely at least. The first set was fairly okay though, and depicts the ship well from The Force Awakens, but for those who really like this one, this might be all you ever get. From Jedi Fallen Order, sadly we only saw one set, while the game series has so much potential for a whole wave of sets someday. This one set we have seen though was BD-1, and it instantly became quite sought after in 2022. This little droid is really quite beloved from this video game, and works really well in the buildable character style of set. And out of all the sets LEGO could have made from Jedi Fallen Order, this is probably one of the best options, other than the Stinger Mantis of course. However, as LEGO is seemingly so hesitant to make Jedi Fallen Order sets, and we are not likely to see anything else from this game, other than Cal Kestis of course, who appeared for the 25th anniversary. As this is the case, I really cannot imagine LEGO actually remaking this BD-1 set, which is quite sad, but it is also not really necessary. This might be the case for many of the buildable characters and droids actually, other than R2-D2 of course, but I think something like BD-1 would be much lower on the remake list, as in a few years BD-1 might not be that popular anymore if Jedi Fallen Order eventually dies out, and the original set is already nearly perfect, so there wouldn't be that much to improve on. Back in 2019, LEGO released the beloved Darth Vader's castle set, and instantly it was yet again a really sought after one. Personally, I am not that much of a fan of this set though, as I think it is a set that has so much potential to have been a much larger scaled LEGO set with a bunch of minifigures. But in this scale, it doesn't depict the menacing castle that menacingly. Regardless, this was a beloved set for good reason, and although it isn't that relevant anymore, it will always be recognizable in the LEGO Star Wars communities. However, I once again cannot see LEGO returning to this one anytime soon, unless we really see a lot of screen time for this castle in a future Star Wars project, which is always possible. This original set wasn't even based on its on-screen appearance from Rogue One though, but rather some Darth Vader comic, if I am not mistaken. So that in itself is quite interesting, but yeah, it won't likely happen again. The final set I want to look at is a very recent one, and that is the U-Wing that released in May. Now, I just really like talking about this set, so I had to include it here, but just seeing a remake of it in the first place this year felt a bit surreal. Of course, with Andor, this one was made very popular and relevant again, but as Cassian Andor's storyline is finally complete with Season 2 of Andor, and of course Rogue One from many years ago, I don't think this ship will be used in any mainstream Star Wars media again. Overall, already having two different depictions of this ship in LEGO is very nice and exciting, but sadly this might be the last time we see this amazing ship and its characters in LEGO Star Wars. So if you like this one, get it now. It is probably, in my opinion, the best set of 2025, so far at least. But that said, what do you think are some sets that will never be remade? Let me know down below. Then I will see you all in the next one. God bless you, and cheers.